Hey kids, it's time for another episode of KittyKatGaming with your host, Mortimer!
KKG! KKG! Yay!
Hey YouTube, it's Mortimer, and I'm back with my friends Chris and Corey, and we're playing Costume Quest.
Hey.
Hello.
So Chris is now at the mall.
Oh shit.
Corey, your zipper's down again.
Do you see
What is up with your zipper always falling down?
This is a thing that always happened with me. Ironically enough, I used to have my only pair of pants, and it had a zipper that never fucking stayed up. So
Yeah?
I just got used to it. People like, your zipper's down, and the thing I'd always go to is like, do you like what you see? And then I'd zip it up. Or do you like what you see, or did you see anything?
Yeah.
Do you see anything you like? Or something, because I got so used to it.
Yeah.
And eventually, now it's just like I'm not even conscious anymore. People like, your zipper's down. I'm like, oh, alright. Hopefully my dick doesn't flop out. But usually your boxers have like some weird mechanic where they like hide behind like layers of fold, so you'll never see my penis.
I can't even imagine like being a guy and having like something extra just hanging there. You know? Because like as a girl, it's like it's pretty straightforward and slick. Like
It's sad.
You know.
It's not going anywhere. It's confined. But guys,
But doesn't it like flop around? Like
your balls do.
I guess. I mean, I'm trying to visualize this. I guess guys aren't hard all the time.
No,
so.
it's more like
I am.
Could you imagine having a disease where you were? Like, how crazy would that
There's
be?
people who have that.
Really?
there's
That must be
people
terrible.
Who, there's also like having like unnecessary boners at the worst time because like they say like
No reason boners?
yeah, growing up, everybody gets no reason boners, and the thing you have to do is you do the old belt flip, where you flip the dick above the belt. So
I've heard of that.
Your shirt.
Yeah.
And that's a good way to fool the public that you don't have a boner. But what I used to do was, because it's also awkward because you have to turn around and do like the whole belt flip thing.
Yeah.
And it happens completely randomly. There's ways to like prevent it. But if you have a dirty mind like I do, it's kind of hard to avoid. But,
Well, you draw a lot of porn.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel like you kind of like,
I'm desensitized.
yes, desensitized?
Absolutely.
Totally?
Specific things make me hard, but most stuff doesn't.
Yeah, and then you gotta like rely on the weirder shit, right?
Yeah. Like when I was, this is one for the books. When I was 13, I was actually introduced to the whole like porn scene, and I found out about it. And so when I was like 14, I knew so much shit. Where 14-year-olds shouldn't know this stuff, I knew it. So I was pretty much desensitized at a young age, and I thought everybody should know about it. I was like, wait, you don't know about this? And I told like all my friends about the gross shit that like, not like real sexual stuff, but the jokey stuff, like the fucking like Cleveland Steamers and the.
Oh my
pumpkin.
God, yeah. We used to talk about that shit all the time in school.
That is the most embarrassing thing when you're about to sneeze or laugh and fucking you snot.
I didn't see anything. So.
Okay, thank God, because that is embarrassing.
Chris, when did you first find out about like sex and stuff?
When you find out about girls have tutors, titties.
When I was like 10. Stop making fun of it. Stop
I'm
funny.
not making fun.
I remember like being in maybe 4th grade, and my friends were like talking about condoms, and I was like, what the fuck is a condom? And they explained it to me. And then like a month later, I was like watching the Tom Green show with my dad, which is totally not for kids. And they made a joke about condoms, and like I got like really embarrassed and flustered, turned away from the screen. And my dad turned to my mom, and he was like, how does she know what a condom is? Because no one's told me about it. And my mom was like, oh, I told her, of course, and like took credit for it. And I was like, I just stayed silent. I was just like, I'm not gonna explain this to them. Like,
I learned about sex when I was super young.
my mom used to like, it was like really weird. She used to like drill it into us. She's like, okay, recite for me like what sex is. Because she was one of those parents who was like, I'm not gonna raise your baby for you. So I'm gonna scare you about sex until you're fucking freaked out about it, and then you're never gonna do it. And my mom was like really mean about it.
My mom was really cool
Like,
about it.
it probably gave me some like weird mental scars. But I did not have sex until I was 18 because of it.
Oh yeah, man.
Like I was like a good girl. Like I kept it all together,
I
man.
didn't have sex until I was 17 because Chef from South Park said so.
Oh yeah.
He was like, they don't have sex till you're 17. I was like, that's
I did it
fucking good.
I did it at a really young age.
I think I've heard that story. Yeah.
That was obviously, you know, I was at that like sex depravity, being a 14-year-old, just like learning about it, wanting to experience because it was actually my dad's fault that I found out about like what sex and porn was.
Oh, did he like get like Playboys and stuff?
No, sorta. There was like this place that we had. It was like this really shitty rank place. You know when people like rent out a place and you get kicked out, so what they usually do is they trash the place before they leave?
Yeah. Like renters, yeah.
Yeah, they basically trash the place.
Your dad was a real estate guy?
my dad's done everything. My dad's been a fucking painter. He was a photographer. Because my dad's like ADD when it comes to work, and he does fucking everything for no reason, just because he's bored. He literally took like the side of a highway and stuck it in the back of a pickup car that was just like smashed on the side of the road, and he bought it for like thousands of dollars.
Holy fuck.
And he basically dropped it in the middle of the driveway. He's like, okay, and he gave me a jackhammer when I was like 16, and he's like, let's start making a road.
What? Wait, so you had like all this old asphalt, and he had you break it up to turn it into a road.
And he had me use a bulldozer when I was young, and I almost like fucking like sunk it in mud because I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. It's a bulldozer, man. When I was like 16, I probably would have every blue collar job under my belt. Like I could do fucking anything. He would take me. He'd be like, "Hi, my son is a toolbox. He can do literally anything." I know now that means so much other stuff, but like I could literally do anything. Like I could go into some place and this woman would be like, she would look at me and be like, "What can you do?" I'd be like, "Oh, you can probably fix your plumbing." And I'd be like, "Yeah, I could probably do that." I could also fix your landline because that's a little fucked up, and I could also your landscape is a little messed up, so I could also like level out your landscape. Whenever
Aaron comes over to my parents' house, he like ends up just like fixing stuff. Like he always like fixes their TV so it's like at the right resolution and like fixes like the color and everything. That's and like he just like, but he doesn't say anything about it because he doesn't want to like make them feel like they made dumb choices. Like he'll just quietly like go and like, you know, fix like the blender or something and then go sit back down. Like it's really sweet. I guess that's how he shows he cares. But I wanted to talk about something on the show today. So like, I never really talked about it, but I had like a car driving phobia a couple of years ago.
Oh, me too.
I've been driving since I was 16. I got my first job when I was 16, and right after I got my first job, I worked at the Disney store. I had to learn how to drive so I could drive myself to and from work. And I was always a really good driver. When we moved to LA, driving here is like super scary, but I could drive here no problem. But then one day my car started having problems and like it started smoking. So I called Aaron and I was like, "Hey, can you come to like the mall?" And because I worked at Hot Topic at that point, I was a manager of Hot Topic. Yeah. And I was like, "Can you come to the mall and look at the car? Because like I feel really scared to drive it home because it's smoking." So Aaron came to the mall and he was like, "Oh, it seems to be fine. Like it's not smoking anymore." So he drove home with me and we drove together in the same car home. And all of a sudden the car started smoking again and the brakes went out. And eventually the car came to a rolling stop and Aaron got out of the car to look at it. And he looked at me with this face that was just like, "Get out of the car." Like he didn't have to say get out of the car. I knew right away and I fucking ran out of the car. The car burst into flames. Something must have gotten disconnected in the car, some kind of fuel line or something, and it ignited. And within literally seconds, the entire car was on fire.
Holy shit.
And it totally fucking fucked me up really hard. I remember, this was in Burbank. I remember when we lived in Burbank still. I remember walking to the nearest house and banging on the door and nobody answered because I was looking for a fire extinguisher or a phone or anything to like contact somebody. And then I ran to the next house and I was like, "Do you have a fire extinguisher?" And the lady just like stood there looking at me and like shook her head no. And then like this one guy came out and he was like, "Don't worry, I got this," and like had like this mixture and he was like, "This is baking soda and like water," and he went ha-cha, like a fucking, like he was doing a magical spell and threw this like mixture onto the hood of my car, which is completely on fire. The entire car is like a fireball at this point. And it does absolutely nothing, and he was so sure of himself. He's like, "Oh," and just like walked away.
It's like he's like experimenting. He's like, "Oh gee, I wonder if these chemicals will do anything, like make pretty colors."
But eventually we got to call the fire department, and within 10 seconds of calling them, they were there. They came really fast. They fucking were such badasses. Firemen deserve all of the praise in the world. They put out that fire in 2 seconds. They had the giant hose, you know, spraying down the entire car. My whole car was soaked. There was like a foot of water inside the car. Luckily, everything I had in the trunk was still okay because I had a sewing machine back there and a couple of things from like a photo shoot I had done recently. So I was able to take everything out of there. But the car had to be completely totaled. My insurance did not cover it because they said it was my fault it caught fire, even though it just fucking happened that day.
What?
Yeah, and so the only thing we could do is we had to pay a company to tow our car away to their own junkyard. And after that, it fucked me up so bad. All I could think about when I was driving was my car engulfing in flames again. So I did not drive for, I think, 2 years. And it's only this past year that I feel comfortable enough to drive like in the city and drive long distances by myself.
Yeah.
And like I'm really proud of myself that I've gotten over that phobia, but it's something that I've never really talked about online. Like, so I just wanted to share that with everybody. If you guys are afraid to drive cars, fucking all kinds of morons fucking drive every day, and if they can do it, you can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. If like there's people like in fucking Philadelphia who have never heard of a turn signal before. Like to them that's just like something fucking like out of the Twilight Zone. Like they see it and they just stop in their tracks like fucking deers.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, idiot, you're supposed to do this when you fucking turn. You don't just turn and then you're like, oh, he could probably read my mind, and you fucking turn into a car. People are so fucking stupid when they drive. I know there's people who aren't stupid, but then there's people who just don't pay attention. They're just like, I'm so good at driving, I can do it with one hand and look the other way.
It's because people like, a lot of the times when I'm having trouble with like driving around where I live, because like there's a lot of bad drivers here in Glendale, I'll look over at them and they will be texting or fucking looking through their iPod. And that is the worst.
Yeah.
It's not illegal in all states, but it's illegal here in California. It's just cops won't pull you over for it because you won't even like find a cop on the road usually in California because they all have more important shit to deal with.
Exactly.
So, but people do it all the time, and that's what most of the accidents that happen here are from, I think. All right, well, I feel emotionally drained after sharing that story. So next time on another episode of Kitty Cat Gaming, we're going to play a little bit more Costume Quest. Chris, you're doing a great job.
Yeah, you're doing fantastic, Chris.
Now I fucked up because you said that.
Oh, no.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Please be sure to hit that subscribe button so you guys don't miss it, and I'll see you guys all next time. Bye, everybody.
Bye.